The BBC dipping into the Charles Dickens well yet again with a story that they've already told many times over. But here in the States, it aired on Hulu. Let's talk about Great Expectations. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my TV review for the miniseries Great Expectations. This aired earlier this year from the BBC, and then in the US here it aired on FX on Hulu. So you can catch it there now. 6 episodes for this miniseries, and of course, one of the most probably adapted books ever, right? Right up there with like Pride and Prejudice. It seems like every few years there's another version, be it movie or television, for Great Expectations. My knowledge of the subject is actually pretty limited. I'm not sure if I've ever seen any of them. I know there was a popular late 90s movie with, I want to say, Gwyneth Paltrow, that featured Great Expectations, but I missed that one, and this is, I think, the first of the TV versions I've seen. I feel like maybe I read the book in high school or something, but in any event, before I launch into the specifics of this particular version of Great Expectations, let me welcome you into Dan Reviews It. Thank you for finding this video. We've got a bunch of great movie and TV reviews for you to check out. I try to post something new just about every day for you guys, so always something new on the channel. So with that in mind, please consider subscribing down below and click that notification bell too, so you can get the alerts of all my new videos dropping. All right, so Great Expectations. This, if you don't know, tells the story of Pip, who is played in this version by Finn Whitehead, who you may know from Dunkirk. He's done a few other things as well, but that's probably one of his most higher profile roles. He is an orphan yearning for a greater lot in life, but a twist of fate with the mysterious and eccentric Miss Havisham, played here by the incomparable Olivia Colman, shows him a dark world of many possibilities. Also in this, you've got, let's see, Ashley Thomas, Johnny Harris, Owen McDonald, Haley Squires, a bunch of people that if you are big into the BBC stuff and the more period piece stuff, perhaps you know better than I do. I know who Finn Whitehead is, and I know, of course, the many things that Olivia Colman has done. But these other people, for the most part, I didn't know. So like I said, I may have read this novel in high school. I do not remember. It's been longer than I'd care to admit since I was in high school. So, you know, I'm familiar enough with the material, and there's actually an episode of Cheers where Frasier talks about Miss Havisham and sort of tells the tale of, you know, this story. And of course, you know, best of times, the worst of times. So I'm familiar enough with some of the stuff in this, but for the most part, you know, I can only sort of say what I see on the screen here with this version. I read that there was some people not really happy with this particular version, and that, you know, it was too divergent from the book. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. So for me, I'm just going to really go off what I see on the screen here, which I think is probably best for a TV review, to not necessarily over compare it to what happens in the book. But one thing about this 6-episode series is it gives us, I think, a little more time with the characters than a lot of the movies that have been made have done. Just because they're, you know, an hour, 45 minutes, 2 hours, whatever. This is nearly 6 hours of, you know, really diving into some of these characters, and whether or not that means it diverges a little bit from the book, maybe it does, I don't know. But it's got that classic Dickensian sort of, you know, mood of just sort of, you know, not great stuff happening, dismal sort of backdrops, and you know, always seems to be, you know, raining or snowing or whatever. So we see that here for sure. Character-wise, you know, I'm a little bit torn on some of these characters. I'm not necessarily sure that I cared about anybody in the first episode other than Pip. You know, and they really, really want you to care about him deeply, and I did. But we don't meet Miss Havisham until the very end of episode 1. That's Olivia Colman, and she is the show stealer, which I think should not be a surprise. You know, she's done a lot of great work, and much of it has been in this sort of, you know, period piece kind of motif. I mean, look, I know she's been around a long time. The first time I think I really took notice of her was in this movie called The Favorite, which she was nominated for an Oscar for. She might have even won. I know she She has won at least one Oscar, but I think maybe it was for The Favorite. I can't truly remember, but in any event, I had sort of seen her name or whatever, and I had seen her pop up in different things, but I am not huge on period pieces like this. It's just not my speed, my zone, whatever. But that movie I really, really enjoyed, and her performance was like amazing. And so I've sort of followed her career since then, and everything she's done has just been one great thing after the other. So it's no surprise that she is the main attraction for this. What she does with the character is great, and again, I can't really compare it to the book. I can only know what I see on the screen, but she really brings this character to life for the good and the bad that brings, and her relationship and stuff with Pip is very, very interesting to watch. I will say, perhaps there are some moments of this show or scenes entirely that are a bit boring. And, let's get to the more meat and potatoes of what's going on with the only people I really tend to care about, Pip and Miss Havisham. I suppose the Ashley Thomas character as well, Jaggers, I like too, but yeah, so this is not my kind of thing. It's not really my speed, but I do like a lot of the Dickens. I don't know, maybe it's sort of the misery involved with it. Obviously Christmas Carol's such a classic, but like Oliver as well. Of all the period piece type stuff, I do kind of gravitate towards Dickens things. I think he did Nicholas Nickleby as well, right? Is that one of his? And I don't know if it's that I relate sort of to the class struggle kind of thing with some of these shows and movies, or not. But I usually like those sorts of adaptations more than the beautiful Jane Eyre and Pride and Prejudice and all this the beautiful romance kind of stuff. I don't know. I'm gravitated a little bit more to the dreary, perhaps. I don't know what that says about me, but in any event, other than being a bit boring in places, and me maybe not caring as much about some of these characters as I maybe could have, but Coleman is stealing the show yet again, but Whitehead very good as Pip too. So it's a little bit middling for me, but I will leave Great Expectations with a B minus. If you want something a little more concise, there's plenty of movies in that 2 hour length that might satisfy you a bit more. But you can check this out on Hulu. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Dan Reviews It. Bye.